So the first part of the mission for the building was that it to be a character in the story of the school. It wasn't just to be the backdrop, it was to be a proactive figure within the learning environment that we were creating.
But engineering in a contemporary sense, and really about challenging convention. So very inspiring client and a client group, obviously in addition to Ewan. So from my perspective, his vision of a character, or the university's vision of a character for engineering, not just a building, was really inspirational, really challenging as well, but a great way to start the project.
Create something different for this building, and sort of the metaphor he used was when everyone else zigs, so all the other universities, while they're zigging, he wanted to zag and create something very, very different. So I think that's what we did, yeah, which was great.
We honed in on the word character, and that's what we're looking for architecturally. We're looking to be teased and inspired, and keywords such as character really resonated with us. It gave us a mechanism to think about engineering in a different way. And also we were cognizant of Bathurst and the place, the location for the facility, so there's lots of drivers there in terms of creating a new home for engineering. So character and home were two words that were really quite compelling to us.
This project had a real constraint, which was time, and it needed a fast procurement sort of delivery method to make it happen. And the only way we could do that was to come together as a team and work together. And we needed everyone to buy in to the vision, and then also the milestones and all the constraints. And then so that was set up right from the beginning, and we did get that buy-in, and that's why I think this project was so successful.
Yes, it used to be an old maintenance shed. Basically used to have tractors and machinery and electricians and carpenters in the place. Even an old mail sorting centre was part of the building. It's developed over a few years. The building footprint has remained virtually the same. We've added a few slabs onto the building and extended some areas, but essentially the footprint has remained unchanged. So looking down on the building, on the left-hand side of the building, we basically removed all the structural steel element and rebuilt it into the second story. On the right-hand side where we are, it was basically strengthened and stiffened to take extra loading and all the various finishes and solar panels and things like that. So we stiffened the backbone of the building and built to what you see now.
We wanted to challenge convention. We saw an opportunity to create different spaces that would help the engineer in a very intense 18 months period of study before they go out into that wider field practice. So we needed to give students different spaces to develop different skills, but also needed to create spaces for people to develop those cohort bonds that would help them in the future. So pitch spaces, maker spaces, galleries, labs, there's a variety of typologies of space in the building to help that intense period as well.
It's deliberately been designed to be rearrangeable, and it is rearrangeable by the student engineers. It's their space. It's their space, they own it. And so it's not so much the flexibility of the furniture, although that's important. A lot of it is the agency, that if they want to move the furniture, they can. It's their furniture in their space.
We have a honeycomb of learning space, which is a very agile, very collaborative space where you can combine different aspects of study. So you may wheel through experiments from the labs into that space, or you may then go and pitch in the pitch space and bring the feedback back into that honeycomb environment. And the honeycomb is all conceived around 50-person cohorts, which enables 7 groups of 7 to working groups within those subgroups. So it's a very cohesive, connected learning landscape, effectively very open, no boundaries. And it's really there to let the students generate their own environments as well within that space as they do in different fields of experimentation.
So within our laboratory spaces, we made a conscious choice that we wouldn't have classrooms, that we would use them all as labs. And so we have the 3 colour labs, and if you open the door between the yellow and the blue lab, you get the green lab. And that's a deliberately reconfigurable space, so that if it needs to be a tutorial classroom where we're talking entirely theoretical mathematical equations, that's what it is and we're writing on the whiteboards. If it has to be a physical experiment, then that's what it is, and we bring in the soils and the water and we make the concrete and we mix it and then we wash it down and we clean up. And so it was a conscious choice that that space be able to support a change of what that space could be. It wasn't a room that is only used for one type of activity and one type of thinking.
We actually went through 3 different AV consultants trying to find the right product and the right person to build the technology wall. It's not a series of TV screens that we've just whacked together and put a touch film overlay on it. It's actually a product that is designed to be fully interactive, fully touch with multiple input sources. So you can touch it at any point in up to 36 simultaneous touches. So that means you can use up to 36 different fingers at any random place, and it will register and act in response to your touch.
In addition, we created a gallery instead of a reception. Again, a place to communicate and share and present with a video wall. We added a makerspace, the labs and a panorama room as well, which really addresses the racing circuit in that context. So for me, the highlight is that it's a combination of things. It's not one thing that makes the building or the environment more successful. It's the overall composition of those things and the ways in which students can choose which particular infrastructure or part of that composition is most applicable to what they're doing at that particular time. So we were very conscious to do that. We didn't want to end up with a static environment. We wanted it to be very dynamic and ever-changing. So we purposely created those different choices in the building to enable that.
I think it's a wonderful space. There's so many different parts to this building. I think as a student, it's an exciting school to come to. It is different.
The ability to free learning from its contextualisation in the space, to not have, this is a lab and I must do lab things here with my lab brain, and this is a tute room and I must do tutorial things here with my tute brain, and this is a lecture theatre and I must play Angry Birds because lectures are boring here. The ability to separate them out and say they're all learning spaces, they're all work spaces, and whatever equipment you need can move between those spaces seamlessly, on demand, as you require it, in response to the learning opportunity that you need right now, I think is really powerful.
So I think, once that word gets out, I think it's going to be one of these great attractions that attracts more and more students.
Project managers, I think you find, we like to affect a meaningful change. We like tangibility, and this was an excellent example of that, because I talk to Ewan now about what he's doing with his students, and I walk around the building and have a look at the experiments that they're doing and the projects that they're working on, and they're all inherently linked to this thing that we built for them. So it's meaningful for that purpose as well.
It's a team effort to be the first thing I acknowledge, but we're immensely proud to be involved in creating differentiating spaces. We have a passion for challenging convention and thinking, how can we do this better? And it takes a lot of effort from a lot of individuals to make a project like this successful. But so from us, we take away from this that we have created some environments that are purposely designed around the curriculum. We've been designed in collaboration with other people and give students those choices to further their studies. The other thing that we're really particularly keen on is creating environments that encourage partnerships with businesses, partnerships with Bathurst and the regional communities. And you need those types of spaces to bring these partners in. They need to be thought out right from the outset, and when they're designed in, they're so much richer because of that. So it's difficult to put your finger on one thing, but it's the overall choice within the learning environments and the way in which the physical spaces open up opportunities for the students and the university.